Welcome to Maths. So today we're doing one of the key topics in Maths, which is indices. Indices. Please make sure you have understood this topic, this part, as it is one of the basic concept or topics in Maths, right? Then after watching the video, please don't forget to like the video and share the video. Like and share the video, right? Then getting into the depth of it, what are indices? Indices just means powers. So in other words, we are dealing with numbers with powers. They are like in this form. Let me illustrate here. So it will be x, like in the form x to the power a, like this. So based on this a is called the power or the index. Then this one x, that's the base. That's the base. So these powers that we are dealing with must have their bases. So we're dealing with numbers with powers. How do we deal with numbers with powers? We apply the laws. So there are about 6 laws of indices that we have to apply, or laws of powers that we have to apply. Remember, indices means powers. Index is just singular for indices, which means it's one is singular. Then singular powers, that's power. We're dealing in numbers with powers, right? What are these laws? The first law of indices, that's law number 1. It says whenever multiplying indices of the same base, maintain the base and add the powers. That's the first law of indices. Let me write it down. Whenever multiplying indices, which are powers of the same base, maintain the base and add the powers. Right, example, e.g., if we can say x to the power a times x to the power b. So in this case, x and x, we call them the base. So these are the bases, and a and b are the indices. These are the powers. So these are indices with the same base x. What do? You maintain the base x and you add the powers a plus b, like this. Right, then moving on the next part, an example based on this. One example, if I can say x to the power 6 times x to the power 3 is equals to x to the power 6 plus 3, which is equals to x to the power 9, like this. Another example, x to the power minus 2 times x to the power minus 4 is equals x to the power minus 2 plus minus 4, which is equals x to the power minus 2 minus 4, then x to the power minus 6. Right, then the second law, law number 2, it says whenever dividing indices of the same base, maintain the base and subtract the powers. It's more like the opposite of the first law. So the first law, remember, you are multiplying. What do? You add the powers. The second law, you are dividing. What do? You subtract the powers. Let me write it down. Whenever dividing indices, these are powers of the same base, maintain the base and subtract the powers. So that's what you do. So whenever dividing indices of the same base, what do? You maintain the base and add and subtract the powers. If I can say x to the power a divided by x to the power b is equals to x to the power a minus b. This one is the same as saying x to the power a over x to the power b is the same as x to the power a minus b. For example, as an example, if I can say x to the power 2 divided by x to the power 4, it is equals x to the power 2 minus 4, which is equals x to the power minus 2. Right, then on this one, you apply another law, law number 4. We will do it. So for now, let's just leave it like that. Then moving on to the next law, the third law, which is law number 3. This one says any number raised to the power 0, the result is always 1. Any number raised to the power 0, the result is always 1. Any number raised to the power 0, the result is always 1. The result is always 1. Example, if I can say x to the power 0 is equals to 1, 99 to the power 0 is 1, 100 to 1000 to the power 0 it's 1, xy to the power 0 it's 1. Whatever type of number, when it is to the power 0, then the result or the answer is supposed to be 1. Then next, law number 4. Law number 4, it says any number raised to a negative power is the same as 1 over the same number when raised to a positive power. Any number raised to a negative power is the same as 1 over the same number when raised to a positive power. Any number, let me write it down, raised to a negative power, which means the power is minus, is the same as 1 over the same number when raised to a positive power. When raised to a positive power. When raised to a positive power. Right? It's like this. If I can say x to the power minus a is equals to 1 over x to the power a. Now the power is positive, right? So that's how we make the power positive. We put 1 over that same number x to the power positive. Example, if I can say 9 to the power minus 2 is equals to 1 over 9 to the power 2, which is equals to 1 over 9 to the power 2 is 9 times 9. Remember, it's 9 times 9, which is equals 9, 1 over 81. 9 times 9, that's 81. Right, law number 5. This one is based on the fractional indices. Fractional indices were saying the power is now a fraction. How do you solve it when the power is now a fraction? Fractional indices. If I can say, for example, x to the power a over b. The power is a over b, which is a fraction. What do? You say, you introduce, you put your square root, then you put x, the number here, then the number that is down here, the denominator, you put it here, then the numerator, which is a, this one, you put it as the power here. So it will be the bit root of x to the power a. The bit root of x to the power a. That's how it will be pronounced. Right, example, if I can say 4 to the power 3 over 2 is equals to, you put your square root, you put your 4 inside, you put your 2 here, then you put your 3 here. So this one will be the square root of 4 to the power 3. The square root of 4 to the power 3. So what is the square root of 4? It's 2 to the power 3, which is equals to 8. 2 to the power 3, remember, is 2 times 2 times 2. 3 times. So 2 to the power 3 is equals to 8. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, it gives you 8. Then the other thing that you have to take note of here is the square root of a number can be positive or negative. Like in this case, the square root of 4, if I can say 2 times 2, I get 4. If I can say minus 2 times minus 2, I still get the same answer 4. So the square root of a number is plus or minus, which means on our answer, we are supposed to put plus or minus 8. Why? Because of that square root thing. So you put plus or minus. That should be a final answer. Right, now moving on to the next part, the last law of indices. This one is a number with a power raised to another power. What do? You maintain that number and you multiply the powers. A number, let me call it x with a power a raised to another power b. It's a number with a power raised to another power b. We just say x to the power a times b. You just multiply the powers. This one x to the power ab. Example, if I can say x to the power 2 then to the power 3 is equals to x to the power 2 times 3, which is equals to x to the power 6. 2 times 3 gives you 6. So that's what you do. These are the 6 laws of indices that you have to work with. So you apply these laws for you to be able to work out problems involving powers, involving indices, right? So it means you have to remember these laws of indices. You have to know them. You have to know them, right? Now let me move on to examples. Let me work out some examples involving these indices so that you can at least understand better. Right, examples. If I can say, these are examples. If I can say x to the power 3 times x to the power minus 2, like this, what are you supposed to do here? What are you supposed to do here? You look first which law is supposed to be applied here. Right, in this case, you are multiplying. So if I'm multiplying, which law? Is law number 1 of indices. What do? You maintain the base x. Then after that, you add the powers. So it will be x to the power 3 plus minus 2, which is equals x to the power 3 minus 2, which is equals x to the power 1. X to the power 1 is the same as writing it as x. So please take note of that. So this one was the first one. Then the second one, if I can say 5y let me say 25y to the power 4 divided by 5y to the power 2, like this. Right, which law is this one? It's law number 2. We are dividing, right? So please take note on the number. You work the numbers separate with the letters. So 25 now 5, y to the power 4 and y to the power 2. So it will be 25 divided by 5, then y to the power 4 divided by y to the power 2. But for it to be much more easier, you can put it this way: 25y to the power 4 over 5y squared, like this, which is equals to, you say 5 into 25, it's 5. Then y to the power 4 divided by y to the power 2. What do you get? You maintain the base, you subtract the powers. 4 minus 2. It will be 5y to the power 2. Like this. Then you are done. Right, example 3. Example 3. If I can say, simplify 16 to the power minus 3 quarters. 16 to the power minus 3 quarters. Right, what you do is you say, first thing is to make the power positive. Remember, you make the power positive first. Then you say 1 over, which means they're applying law number what? It's law number 4. 1 over 16 to the power 3 over 4, power positive. Then after that, please take note, this one is for the law. So please don't ever remove it. Just leave it like that. Now, on this numerator, 16 to the power 3 quarters, you apply law number 5. You put your 16 here, your 4 here, to the power 3. So it will be 1 over, right, the fourth root of 16, there is a 4 here, is the fourth root of 16. If there is a 2, is square root. The A3 is cube root. 4 is fourth root. What does it mean? The number which when you multiply 4 times by itself gives us 16. Which number is that one? It's 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4 times gives you 16. So it will be 2 to the power 3, which is equals to 1 over 2 to the power 3 is 8. Because it's 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times gives you 8. Then also take note, there's a 4e. There's a 4e. This 4e. Right? When there's a 2, a 4, a 6. Remember we said initially the square root of a number can be plus or minus. Can be plus or minus. So on a minus, if there are 2, they will cancel each other. The answer will be positive. If there are also 4, they will cancel 2, 2. They will cancel in pairs. So the answer will also be positive. If there are 6, they also cancel in pairs. The answer will also be positive. So in this case, minus 2 can also be the fourth root of 16. So the fourth root of a number is also plus or minus. Plus or minus. So you put our plus or minus on this answer. That will be a final answer. Right? Right, let's move on to the last part, the exercise. The exercise, so that at least you can understand something. First question. First question. If I can say, you can pause your video and try to answer these questions, right? If I can say question number 1, m to the power 8 divided by m to the power 5. Then question number 2, let me say 9 times 10 to the power 9 over 3 times 10 to the power 6. Like this. Then question number 3, let me just write it here. 1 over 4 to the power minus 2. Then question number 4, let me say 8 to the power minus 9 times b to the power 0. What will be the answer? Right, let me just do these questions for you. It's an exercise. Pause the video, then you can try to attempt or to answer these questions. Let me add one more. If I can say 3x to the power minus 3. 3x to the power minus 3. Let me add that one. Right, now let me start with number 1. These are the solutions. Solutions. Question number 1. M to the power 8 divided by m to the power 5. As you can see, that's law number 2. You are dividing. What do? You maintain the base and you subtract the powers. So it will be m to the power 8 minus 5, which is equals m to the power 3. Then you are done. Then number 2, question number 2, 9 times 10 to the power 9 divided by 3 times 10 to the power 6. Right, that one, what you do is, the numbers with powers, you work them separately as to the numbers without powers. So 9 and 3, no powers. 10 to the power 9, 10 to the power 6, there are powers. You work them separately. So you say 3 into 9, you divide them, it will be 3 times, then on this part you maintain the base 10 to the power 9 divided by 10 to the power 6. You maintain the base and you subtract the powers, so it will be 9 minus 6, which is equals to 3 times 10 to the power 3. That will be your final answer. Now moving on to the third part, 1/4 to the power minus 2. That one, the first thing is to make the power positive. What do? You apply law number 4 of indices. Law number 4 says what? It says 1 over 4 to the power 2. You say 1 over the same number, now raised to a positive power 2, which is equals to 1 over. Then you share the power. Sharing the power, so it will be 1 squared over 4 squared. That's sharing the power. Then it will be 1 over 1 squared is 1, 4 squared is 16, which is equals to, right, these divisions looks like they are more confusing. So what do? You introduce this division, 1 divided by 1 over 16, which is equals to 1 times 16 over 1, like this. So your final answer will be 16. That will be your final answer. Let's move on to the next question, question number 4. Right, for question number 4, a to the power minus 9 times b to the power 0. Remember, on b to the power 0, we said it's law number 3. That's what you have to apply. Any number raised to the power 0, the result is always 1. So you apply that law on b to the power 0. So it will be the same as a to the power minus 9 times 1, which is a to the power minus 9. Now, on this one, you don't leave it like this. You apply law number 4. Law number 4, which says any number raised to a negative power is the same as 1 over the same number raised to a positive power. That's the final. So this one is the final answer. So it will be like this. That's question number 4. Then the last question, question number 5. Question number 5, right? It's 3x to the power minus 3. First thing, you have to know which numbers are being affected by the power. So the power affects everything that is inside the brackets. The power affects everything inside the brackets. So now the power is affecting everything, 3 and x. What do? First, you make the power positive. So it will be 1 over 3x to the power 3. We have applied law number 4 here. Then after that, you share the power. You share the power here. So it will be 1 over 3 cubed, then here, and x to the power 3, which is equals to 1 over 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Then x cubed. You are done. Right, so these were indices. These are indices. Please take note of the workings that I was doing. Also remember the laws. That's the main important thing that you have to do, to remember the laws, understand the laws. And please, after watching this, don't forget to like the video and share the video, the Igcse online, please. Nice.